Most people aren't ready for the first day of a zombie apocalypse, and those first 24 hours are usually the bloodiest part of a collapse. People freeze, panic, or waste precious time being misled by conflicting news reports. When the dead come knocking, you have minutes to act, not hours, and those choices you make in the early moments decide whether you'll live to see the end of the day. So let's break down what to actually do during the first 24 hours of a zombie outbreak. Keep in mind, this guide works whether you live in a house, a condo, or an apartment. The same principles apply. And just so we're on the same page, we're talking about classic walkers, slow and dumb but dangerous in numbers. Although for the first time ever on my channel, I'm going to say this also applies to rage infected. Generally we cover one or the other, but these principles apply for both. As for your location, you're at home. You're not in a prepper bunker, nor do you have access to a tactical squad on speed dial coming to bail you out. This video is about getting through the first 24 hours from a normal house while the world outside around you falls apart. And just a quick disclaimer for my regular viewers, if my voice sounds off or a little bit strained, it's because I'm still kinda sick. But the dead don't sleep, so I gotta keep making these videos. So bear with me here, I do apologize. Alright, let's hop into it. Early on, during the first 24 hours, zombies will kill plenty of people, but panic will kill even more. Crowds rush into traffic, hospitals overflow, everyone calls the police at the same time, and emergency lines collapse under the load. People try to help their neighbors, others run outside because they think they can drive through gridlocked traffic. Unfortunately, most of them will end up as piles of bodies on the pavement getting ready to reanimate. Fear drives every one of those decisions. You need to control it, accept you're losing things today, and focus on not joining that pile of bodies outside. Now before you take any major steps, you need to confirm the outbreak is real. It won't take more than a minute to do it. The last thing you want to do is freak your friends and family out, just to find out this was just a repeat of the Miami cannibal attack. Granted, that was pretty terrifying. You're going to want to check your phone for any emergency alerts. If you're with your family or friends and you get that same alert all at once, that's probably a good indication it's not a prank. If you're hearing a lot of citywide sirens without any responders in sight, that might be a bit of a clue. Or live clips from your own town or city showing clear reanimation. Hell, maybe even your neighbors chewing on each other is enough to tell you what's going on. If you see 3 or more of those signs, you're no longer dealing with a rumor or a prank. The outbreak is real and you need to get your ass into gear. Right now your main priority is securing your immediate area. Safely check windows, hallways, balconies, and doorways just long enough to see how close the dead already are. If they're already in your courtyard or on your floor, you know you need to stay low and extremely quiet while trying to secure the place. On the other hand, if things still look clear, you have a bit of breathing room to secure things a bit quicker, but it's safe to assume that won't last, so use that window to cover as much ground as possible. Once your location is secured, if you rely on daily medication like insulin, inhalers, heart meds, or anything you can't miss, grab it immediately. Missing a dose today can be just as lethal as a zombie getting its hands on you. And if you wear glasses, grab them. And if you have a spare, pack it too. You're going to want to protect that second pair with your life. Once the world collapses, you're probably never going to get a perfect pair again. Also, this early into the outbreak, taps should still be running. So fill bathtubs, sinks in every container or bottle that you have. Water is one of the first things that becomes hard to replace once the grid starts failing. You don't know how long you'll be here for, so plan ahead and load up on water. Next up, we need to pack a bag. You probably won't have the perfect setup, but there are a few things you really want to get into that backpack. At minimum, take a water bottle, some non-perishable high-calorie food, a compact first aid kit, a multi-tool, a fixed blade or a sturdy knife, durable gloves, a hat, extra socks, and a flashlight with spare batteries. And if you have them, water purification tablets or a filter, a poncho or a raincoat, and a small tarp or an emergency bivvy. All of these will make your life a lot easier if you have to move. Once you have that all packed up, your phone should still work during the opening hours. So use it. Check emergency alerts, news updates, and local posts that show where zombies have already appeared. Police scanners help you if you know how to read them. Pay attention to where survivors are gathering or fleeing. You're going to want to avoid those areas. Large crowds form natural zombie magnets. Now you may be wondering when you can leave, but reality is that leaving during the first 24 hours is one of the fastest ways to get yourself killed. As we already established, the streets are full of panicked people, stalled cars, sirens, and zombies drawn to the noise. Staying home is usually safer during the opening chaos because you have walls, doors, and some level of control. You leave only if your home becomes unsafe or if the building is compromised. Otherwise, you wait. Let the noise die down, let the panic crowds get eaten or scattered, and let the undead wander off. Once the dust settles, you'll have a much clearer idea of where to go and how to get there without walking straight into the danger. But before we can consider that, we need to make sure our current location is completely secured. Earlier I told you to secure your immediate area. That was the quick version. This is how you can turn whatever building you're in into something that can actually keep you alive. First off, zombies are drawn to movement and silhouettes more than anything. Your first real job is making sure they can't see you. Close blinds and curtains on every window if you didn't already do that. But if you don't have any blinds or curtains, hang up a blanket, sheets, or a towel. If you have thumbtacks, use it. If not, use tape, but try to keep it down. And it doesn't have to look pretty, it just has to keep you hidden. And before anything else, never open the door or window just to look. If you make a loud enough sound or get spotted, zombies will know exactly what house or what unit you're in. Use peepholes, a tiny blind gap, or a mirror from the side if you need to check bad enough. Next up is noise. Stuff towels or blankets along the bottom of your doors. If you have rugs or extra clothes, layer them near doors and thin walls. Turn off anything that hums, beeps, or plays in the background. And definitely make sure your phone doesn't ring as well. If there are zombies nearby, your phone going off would essentially be a dinner bell. Now that we've broken line of sight via the windows, it's time to lock everything else down. Tip refrigerators, bookcases, or dressers against the main entryways if you can move them without making too much noise. If you don't have any of those, you can wedge a heavy chair or a table leg under the doorknob at an angle. Another option is to unscrew an interior door and lean it as a second layer if you need more resistance. You're not trying to build a fortress, you're just trying to eliminate the possibility of something finding you. Alright, next you need to pick a room as your main fallback spot. Interior rooms with only one entrance are your best bet. Make sure you have a way out though. The last thing you want to do is lock yourself in a room that has no way out. Once you pick a room, clear any tripping hazards. Keep your important gear in there too. And know exactly how you're getting out if something breaches your place. If there's a second exit like a window, balcony, or a fire escape, make sure it isn't jammed ahead of time. After you're done with all that, you need to brace yourself. If it hasn't happened yet, it will happen soon enough. Eventually your neighbors are going to be screaming Bloody Mary, firing off a gun, or hammering on their vehicle horns outside your place. All this can potentially bring zombies into your area. You can't control what your neighbors do, so be ready for it. Treat every loud outburst as a countdown. Once you hear it, that's your cue to double check locks, kill lights, move to your chosen safe room, and hang out near your gear. All you can do when that happens is play the waiting game. You're also going to want to avoid these fatal mistakes. Some people will open their doors to strangers, argue about supplies with their neighbors, or record everything for social media because they still think this is a temporary emergency, not the end of the world as they know it. And for those who live in apartments, some might crumble under the pressure and start playing therapist for their entire apartment hallway, convinced they can talk everyone down if they just say the right words. None of that helps you survive. Every extra conversation at the door is another chance for someone infected to stumble inside. Whoever is at your door might also be scoping your place out. And if someone screams in another room, don't sprint toward it just because you feel liable to help. Take 3 seconds, listen, and assess. If it sounds like a feeding frenzy, you're not a hero for adding your body to the pile. Zombies don't care about your good intentions or emotional speeches. They only care about noise, movement, and doors that stay open too long. And here's something I don't see talked about often: our pets. Those cuddly little guys are part of our family, but in a zombie outbreak, they are also walking sirens. Dogs bark at footsteps in the stairwell or outside your door. They'll also get set off by raised voices, weird noises, or strange smells. Cats meow when they're stressed, hungry, or shut in a room they don't like. Once zombies are in your building or outside of it, loud noises coming from your pets might lead them all to your location. In a perfect world, you'd bring them into your safe room, shut as many doors between them and the corridor as possible, and layer blankets or clothes along the bottoms to muffle sound. Or maybe you could improvise a muzzle for a dog if you don't have one. Unfortunately, life is cruel though. If your pet keeps screaming at the door while the dead shuffle outside, they're putting you in danger. So you might have to make a very difficult choice on how to deal with that noise. Now, if you manage to do everything above, here's the next thing to be aware of. Because some people think it's wise to move around at night, but reality is the darkness removes your visibility and hands zombies every advantage. Once the sun takes off for the night, your depth perception goes with it. Shadows swallow movement, and your ability to judge distance disappears. Zombies, on the other hand, rely on sound and silhouette much more than fine detail, so the dark barely slows them down. And when the streets die down, sound travels farther. A dropped pan in your kitchen can echo through an entire courtyard. A loose window rattling in the wind can pull a cluster of undead toward the noise. And by this point, electrical fires and overloaded transformers have already taken chunks out of the grid. Some neighborhoods will still have scattered pockets of light, others will be pitch black, and nobody is out there fixing blown lines or restoring order. Those random spots of light leave big chunks of the street in shadow. Those are the spots where zombies will pile up without you noticing. So if you thought you'd quietly slip out at night, you might want to rethink that plan. Night is when you switch from active preparation to controlled stillness. Minimize movement, dim everything, and rely on hearing more than sight. Let the dark work in your favor by staying quiet and giving the zombies nothing to track. Alright, now between 3 and 6 a.m., the entire world hits its lowest point. Most surviving people finally crash from exhaustion. The screaming stops, the gunshots fade, and even the arguments die off. For the first time since the outbreak started, the city feels still, but that silence isn't a good thing. With human noise gone, zombies drift toward random sounds like settling metal, clattering debris, or a humming appliance. They fill courtyards, pack into side streets, and cluster near any building that made noise earlier in the night. Anyone who falls asleep without checking their barricade or securing their safe room is banking their life on luck they don't have. This is the hour when the exhausted, the injured, and the careless die in their sleep. Stay silent, stay hidden, and avoid moving unless your location becomes unsafe. If you do have to relocate, move slowly, avoid hard surfaces, and never use light unless you're absolutely sure no windows can reveal it. If you've done everything right so far, then you've made it to the point where every emergency service has collapsed. Power has become unreliable, and zombies have spread across the city. You might have electricity still, but too many lines are down, too many substations are unattended, and you can't trust the lights to stay on for much longer. Crowds also disappear now that most people that fled early are either gone or dead. Fortunately, you're still breathing because you secured your home, broke line of sight, killed sound leaks, and picked a safe room instead of running into gridlocked streets. You stayed put while everyone else tried to drive through chaos. You didn't open your door just because somebody begged. You also didn't rush toward every scream you heard. You understood that good intentions can sometimes get you killed. You figured out a solution to your pets making noise instead of pretending they would magically stay quiet. You respected night for what it is, a hunting ground where sound travels and vision fails. Despite how well you did, the real problems are just starting, because your food is going to run low and water is going to run dry, and the zombies now litter the streets. They will drift through your neighborhood again and again, testing doors, following echoes, and sniffing out anyone who breaks the silence. Alright folks, if you made it to the end, I appreciate you as always, and if you're new around here, I have a Discord server if you're interested in that, or I have a gaming channel if you want to catch me there. That's somewhere I post from time to time. If YouTube ever decides to nuke my main channel, that's probably where you'll find me in the future. Or if this channel just doesn't work out. So if you want to help me grow it, feel free to check it out. Only if you actually plan to watch the videos though. Believe it or not, subbing to the channel and not watching the videos does more harm than good. And a quick thank you to my Patreon and my YouTube members. I appreciate all of you.